a really good friend of mine who I met about a year ago at a nature education conference, Phillip Mcknight. Phillip has one of the most interesting backgrounds of anybody I've ever met. So Phillip has been a Peace Corps volunteer in Jamaica, helping them with irrigation and with job development as a volunteer. Then he came back to the States and he was a Shriver Peace Fellow, working and studying at UMBC and working with Patterson Park Audubon to create mindfulness programs and birding programs for teenagers in Baltimore City. Then Phillip was inspired to hike the Appalachian Trail, which he just did recently, and he's going to talk a little bit about that. I'm thrilled that Phillip is part of the NatureWorks team. Phillip is one of our guides, and he leads people in our program on mindful explorations of nature to connect people with the healing qualities of the natural world. He does a great job at it. So we're thrilled to have him on our team. And I'm very excited to kick it over to Phillip to lead us through some explorations of haiku and music and the Appalachian Trail. So we're going to go on a little trip with Phillip. Take it away, Phillip.
Greetings, everybody. Thank you so much for this opportunity to get to join in this community. And perhaps we can just start with a little mindfulness practice just to all arrive together in nature. So we'll just do a few minutes. So I'll just invite everybody to find a place where they are comfortable. And you can allow your eyes to close if that feels good for you. You can allow your shoulders to be back. I'll ring the bell to start us off. We can just start with a breath or two. You're welcome to join me in a full deep breath in and a slow release. A full breath in, slowly allowing the air to come into the lungs. And a slow release. And one more full breath in. Slowly allowing the air to go out. And perhaps just bringing to mind one little bit of gratitude for life at this moment. Perhaps it's just taking this moment of time for yourself today. And just feel that you have arrived here in the moment. We can blink our eyes back open. And again, welcome and thank you for having me join you today. My connection, as Phil and Heidi was saying, all started a year or two ago when I was really on this path to want to find out a way to connect mindfulness and nature. And I didn't know if it could be done. And then all of a sudden, somebody put Phil and Heidi in front of me, and they both were so excited about it. So I was really excited to have the chance to meet them, and actually had the chance to do a piece in the wild right before I started hiking the Appalachian Trail, and actually caught a ride with somebody from Peace in the Wild. And I recognize some faces here, Brian in particular, who had hiked to the trail, and he noticed that my backpack looked about, well, it took up basically all of Heidi's car. So it wasn't really a recommended amount to try to carry 2,000 miles. So I learned quickly, I don't need all of that. And that, if nothing else, was a big lesson. And along the way on the trail, Phil gave me the opportunity to write about my experience. And I was viewing it with the perspective of using mindfulness to deepen my experience in nature. And I felt like my mindfulness practice increased, and my connection to nature really was deeper than it had ever been before. So I was thankful for it, and hopefully the writing, I know it was therapeutic for me, and hopefully maybe it helped somebody else as well. But it was really this opportunity to write that helped me to understand nature and myself more. And I started in Harper's Ferry. I did what was called a flip-flop, walking from Harper's Ferry to Maine, and then afterwards, basically Georgia back to Harper's Ferry. And when I got to Maine, I came to this place called the 500-mile wilderness, where you have to prepare for your longest section without food. And I met two people there. One was this tall man who owned the hostel. And I said, "What's your name?" And he said, "Poet is my name." And then I looked over, and next to him was a woman standing there. And I said, "What's your name?" And she said, "My name's Hippie Chick." So I said, "Well, nice to meet you, Poet and Hippie Chick." If you don't know, on the Appalachian Trail, everybody has a trail name, which aren't always politically correct. So it was there that Poet and I started talking a little bit about haiku, and he, over the famous all-you-can-eat pancake breakfast, and Poet said to me, "You got to have passion for haiku. Do you know what haiku is?" And I said, "No, not really." He says, "Haiku is poetry that originated in Japan. It uses 5 syllables, then 7 syllables, then another 5 syllables to comment on the natural surroundings." I said, "Oh, that sounds pretty cool." And he says, "It focused on a brief moment in time." So I remember him saying, "I'll read you a poem." And he said, "Close your eyes and just take this in." So I'll invite everybody to close your eyes and again reconnect with this moment as I share the poem that Poet shared with me. He said, "An old silent pond. A frog jumps into the pond. Splash. Silence again." And I was amazed at just how in such few words these beautiful images were able to come up. And for me, I started writing them because they don't take more than a few minutes, and realized that it was a really beautiful art form that helped me to connect with nature and my natural surroundings. So that's the question I want to ask today in our short time together is, can poetry, specifically haiku, be a vehicle to help us connect more deeply with the natural world? So today we'll answer that question by mindfully experiencing nature, and then we'll have a chance to write a little bit about what our experience is that we're having in the natural world at this moment, or with the plant that we're near. And then we'll have the chance to even put those into a haiku. So we could begin with a short little mindfulness practice that is near to or near to nature. And I would also invite you to have your pen and paper next to you or near you. And we'll just do a minute or two little mindfulness practice. And I'll invite everybody again to find a place and a position that's comfortable and upright as we use this practice of mindfulness to help us connect more deeply with this present moment. You can allow your eyes to close if that's comfortable. And we can just begin with an attention to our breath, just noticing the breath, how it is at this moment. And letting that attention to the breath be our pathway back to the present. We'll use this mindfulness practice, which is seeing clearly our experience and then allowing it fully to help us connect with our own inner landscape as well as our outer landscape. So with each breath that we're paying attention to, just savor it and let it relax us. And within our attention to the breath, we might notice the sound of our breath as it goes in and out. And we can expand that attention to sounds to our direct environment and notice sounds that are around us. And again, with mindfulness practice, we just notice the sounds that are coming and then let them pass at their own speed, fully accepting them. And even letting the sounds deepen our connection with our surroundings and the natural world. We might also notice our living body and where we make contact with the earth at this moment. So if you have your feet on the ground, perhaps just wiggling your toes and feet and then allowing your feet to be totally still as you feel yourself connected and supported by the earth. You may also notice where you're sitting, your sit bones are connecting with the ground, with the earth. And then just observing, bringing into the attention the whole awareness of the living body. Feeling ourselves interconnected with the earth at this moment and alive on this earth. And now we also might check in with emotions, which are an important part of how we experience the world. And we may notice the prevalent or the most easy to notice emotion that we're feeling, whether it's a sense of relaxation or peace, or maybe it's stress. Maybe some joy, or perhaps even some fear or grief. And again, with mindfulness practice, we just notice it and allow it to be just as it is. And just spending the last few moments before we transition in awareness of this living body here. A living being here on earth. So thank you for practicing and joining in. And to me, I feel like mindfulness practice can, for me, heightens my awareness of my current experience. So that's the perfect time to check in with our experience and to maybe write it out. So what I'm going to invite everyone to do just for only 2 minutes is to take your pen and paper and do a little free write. Could just be single words, could be sentences, and use your senses, hearing, smelling, touch, and what you notice in your natural environment. And perhaps even include any emotion that you feel at this moment. So since time is short, I'll ring the bell to start, and then I'll ring it again after 2 minutes. You can go ahead. If possible, just let your hand move across the page without stopping at all and create a direct connection with your experience. And just take the last 20 seconds to take in your experience and write what is true at this moment for you. Great. Well, thank you for having that free write. And the next goal is to go back and take a look at what you've written. See if there's anything that feels like it's true for you at in this experience. Circle it, and then from there, go ahead and put it into a 5-syllable, then 7-syllable, then 5-syllable structure of haiku. So we can go ahead and do another minute or two at this. And just remember, this is just a practice activity. So we're not looking for the most famous haiku, just something that expresses the truth of your experience. So you can go ahead. All right. I know it's a quick exercise to maybe do something you've never done before, but thank you all for giving that a try. I think I'm aware of probably the time to wrap it up. So I'll just say thank you for joining me in this experience of noting current experience through haiku, and hopefully it was enjoyable for you. I'll turn it back to Heidi and Phil, and if it works out, I'd love to hear from you, and just know that maybe somebody else had that same experience, and that's why poetry can be very helpful. We can realize our shared experience. So thanks again.
Thank you so much, Philip. I'm a huge fan of yours. I always enjoy when you lead anything. But I have to be honest, I was a little skeptical because I don't consider myself a poet. But I have to tell you, when you were leading this, the words did flow. I don't know if anyone else had that experience, but the words did start flowing. And I have to say, I'm a little impressed with what came for me. So thank you for that, because I'm feeling good about myself right now. We are running a little close, but I don't want to pass this opportunity to give a few people a chance to share what their experience was like, or even maybe share some of their writing.
Yeah. Okay. This is I'm not a poet either at all. I'll just quickly I'll just say my writing really quickly. I feel the wind blowing in the air as it touches my hair, as I listen to the birds chirping and whirring of distant cars. I can see the birds perched on the string of lights and hear their wings as they gently land and observe. I feel a sense of calm and peace that comes over me, and I watch the leaves blow in the wind.
Nice. I love that. I love that. Thank you, Annie, for sharing that.
I'm not going to share my haiku because
No, thank you for sharing that. Anyone else?
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Great. All right. This is my haiku written in 2 minutes. All right. The dog runs and sniffs. Crisp air blows a cleansing breeze. Birds chirp, views cast up.
Nice. Good job, Shannon.
Thanks, Heidi.
Okay, good. I'm so excited that I'm trying to learn something new every day. So thank you, Philip, for teaching us something new.
Thank you.
So Phil Hosmer, do you want to close this out with a reading?
Well, since we don't have a lot of time, what I thought might be cool was to kick it back over to Philip, because one of Philip's other talents is he's also a musician. And when he was on the Appalachian Trail, he actually carried a ukulele with him on his pack and would play songs for people on the trail. So I thought it'd be cool if Philip wrapped us up in song. How does that sound? You up for that, Philip?
Sure am. I got my ukulele right here.
Excellent. So lead us on, and then maybe at the very end, Heidi, you can unmute everyone and we can finish the song together. Maybe Philip will give us a signal to unmute everybody, but for the beginning, we'll just have Philip singing and we'll just enjoy. Take it away, Philip.
Great. Again, thanks everybody for joining in, and hope this practice can serve you, the haiku practice, in the future. It's helped me to look deeper into nature and know what's going on in myself. So invite everybody to join in on that. It's a really beautiful practice. This is a song that I would sing on the trail when I would meet people, and feel free to sing along. It goes, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Well, the people all over the world, they're gonna let it shine. People all over the world, they're gonna let it shine. People all over the world, they're gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Now if everybody wants to come in.